Two brothers, red-faced, veins bulging, screaming at each other in the hallway of our childhood home. My mother, usually the calmest person in the world, slams her hands together and shouts words I had never heard from her mouth before. She yells, "Are you telling me you two hid a bag of in my house?" Asterisk. And I was in my bedroom, muffling my laughter into a pillow. Because I knew the truth. They were both innocent, and yet both guilty. Because I had planted the evidence myself. This is the story of how a single bag of crap sparked years of chaos, betrayal, and the most satisfying revenge of my childhood. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, or if you've ever dreamed of serving a sweet dish of justice to those who wronged you, then stick around. You're about to hear one of the pettiest, funniest, and most perfectly executed revenge stories you'll ever come across. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more twisted tales of karma, and tell me in the comments, what's the most outrageous prank or revenge you've ever seen? The late 1980s. A simpler time, no smartphones, no social media, no instant messages. Just three brothers, growing up in a small town, where entertainment usually came in the form of petty fights and sibling rivalries. There was me, the narrator, always the thinker, the planner, the one who liked to plot schemes instead of rushing headfirst into trouble. Then there were my brothers. Keith, the obsessive neat freak, and Jared, the laid-back slob with a love for fish tanks and zero sense of urgency. Our parents were hardworking. Mom, a schoolteacher, out the door before sunrise. Dad, a pastor and firefighter, sometimes gone for days. That meant mornings were our kingdom. Chaotic, loud, and free of adult supervision. But one night I made a mistake. I stayed out all night with a friend, breaking the only unspoken rule of the house. My parents would never have known. But at dinner the next evening, both Keith and Jared betrayed the sacred kid code. No snitching. That was the rule. And yet they ratted me out. I sat at the dinner table, stunned, heart racing as my mother's eyes narrowed. My father's voice thundered. Grounded. That was it. My freedom gone. My brothers had humiliated me. And in that moment, something dark brewed in me. My fists clenched under the table. My jaw locked. My mind whispered one word, revenge. The long game begins. But revenge isn't always immediate. Good revenge takes patience. So I waited. I let the punishment pass, let the tension cool. I laughed at their jokes, played the part of the little brother licking his wounds. But in my head the plan was forming. If they wanted to betray me, I'd turn them against each other. Slowly, silently. Step 1 was simple. Plant seeds of doubt. Keith's obsession with cleanliness was my weapon. He hated mess. Jared's fish tanks, on the other hand, smelled like a swamp. I just had to push the right buttons. Man, Jared's room kinda stinks, don't you think? I'd casually say to Keith, while munching cereal. You really need to clean this place up. It smells disgusting in here. Jared rolled his eyes, laughed, ignored him. Exactly as I had predicted. Day after day, Keith complained. Jared dismissed him. And with every jab, the fire grew hotter. Two brothers, slowly tearing at each other's nerves, while I sat back, feeding the flames. Then came step 2. The catalyst. The spark that would ignite the inferno. I found a brown paper lunch bag. Took it to the bathroom. And yes, I did the unthinkable. I squatted and filled that bag with the most revolting, undeniable evidence of life's cruel biology. Bag of crap. My masterpiece. And where did I put it? Hidden deep in Jared's closet, among the smell of fish and damp gravel. Invisible. Undeniable. Now the stage was set. The next morning, the smell hit Jared harder than ever. He searched, confused, irritated. Keith smirked, triumphant. See? I told you it stinks in here. Jared groaned, checking behind fish tanks, sniffing under his bed. Until finally he found it. A brown bag tied shut. He opened it, and recoiled in disgust. His mind clicked instantly. Who else could it be? Keith, the neat freak. The enemy who wouldn't stop insulting his room. This was personal. So Jared, red with fury, did the only logical thing. He planted the bag in Keith's pristine bedroom. The cycle had begun. Keith came home, opened his door and froze. A foul stench invaded his sanctuary. He searched, gagging, until he found it, the bag. His eyes widened. His fists clenched. His voice cracked as he shouted, "Jared!" And so the war escalated. 4 days, the bag traveled back and forth. Closet to dresser. Bed to backpack. Each discovery fueled more rage. More shouting, more accusations. Their voices rattled the walls of our home. And me. I laughed quietly into my pillow each night, savoring every second, until Keith took it further. He stapled the bag. Yes, stapled it to the back of one of Jared's drawers. Jared tore through his room like a madman, sweating in the Florida heat, windows flung open, desperate to find it. He even started sleeping in the living room. But the bag was there, always there, slowly driving him insane. And then came the twist. One morning, as Keith and Jared screamed at each other in the hallway, fists nearly flying, my mother came home unexpectedly. She had forgotten her lesson plan. The moment she opened the door, the shouting echoed through the house. She rushed upstairs, face red, eyes blazing. "What is going on in here?" she demanded. The boys, caught in the middle of their chaos, shouted over each other. "He put a bag of crap in my room." "No, he did it first." And then, my mother said the unthinkable. The words that froze us all. "Are you telling me you two hid a bag of shit in my house?" Asterisk. The world stopped. My jaw dropped. My brothers stood frozen. My mother, the woman who never cursed, never lost composure, had snapped. It was glorious. Of course, the bag was finally found, tossed out, and both brothers were grounded. They scrubbed the entire house from top to bottom in the sweltering heat. And I sat quietly in my room, basking in the sweet glow of victory. 6 years later, the truth comes out. But the story doesn't end there. Fast forward to the mid-90s. My parents had divorced, and we hadn't all been together in years. But for Christmas, we reunited at a pizza place. We laughed, reminisced, sharing childhood stories. Until my mother chuckled and said, "I still can't believe you boys had a bag of poo in the house." Keith groaned. "Blame Jared, he started it." Jared slammed the table. "I did not." And I smirked, silent, relishing the memory. But then, my ex-wife Clarissa, one of the only people I'd ever told the truth, burst out laughing. Tears streamed down her face as she practically fell out of her chair. My father looked at her, then at me, then back at her. His eyes narrowed. His lips curled. "Oh, you bastard!" And before I could defend myself, both Keith and Jared lunged. I got pummeled right there in the pizza place. Was it worth it? Every single second. The payoff wasn't just the fights, the yelling, or the grounding. It was years later, seeing the chaos I caused still living rent-free in my brothers' heads. Watching my mother, the saintly teacher, curse for the first and only time in my life. Seeing my brothers destroy each other, all while I sat back and played puppet master. That was the revenge. Clean, silent, perfect. Narrator thoughtful. So what did I learn from all of this? That sometimes the best revenge is the one no one sees coming. That silence is its own power. And maybe, just maybe, that telling your ex-wife your darkest secrets isn't the best idea. Because in the end, revenge doesn't just change the target, it changes you. And for me, it made me realize I should probably avoid family gatherings. Unless I want to get beaten up again. Narrator, friendly, conspiratorial. If this story gave you chills or made you laugh out loud, smash that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's the pettiest or most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And of course, stick around, because more jaw-dropping revenge stories are coming your way soon.